Again, this is just the latest one. Here's the big question we're talking about tonight. Are D.C. leaders and police doing enough to curb gun violence? Or is it time maybe for a different approach? Going to bring in Dr. Rashawn Ray. He's a professor of sociology at the mighty University of Maryland who researches racial and social inequities with a particular focus on police-civilian relations. Dr. Ray, great to have you with us. So we've got the Mayor's Crime Prevention Initiative. We've got D.C.'s new Director of Gun Violence Prevention, yet we're seeing all this, more violence. If you could sit down in a room with D.C. police, the mayor, and if they said, Dr. Ray, what can we do? What should we change? What kind of advice would you give?
Obviously, crime is definitely an issue. And when we look at this, part of what we see is that obviously everyone's heart goes out to the families. If I was in a room, which I often am having these conversations, part of what we have to recognize is that education and work infrastructure oftentimes decreases crime, because we're talking about violent crime in this particular situation. And one of the things that we've heard from the police chief as well as the mayor is creating an ecosystem and building blocks of success for communities. And a lot of times that starts with mental health resources, that starts with education training, and that starts with work opportunities, very much in line with what we were just hearing about. Instead of having a liquor store, instead having a community center and a mental health facility to help people out in those communities.
Right. I think the things that you're talking about require a measured and frankly a longer term approach. If we were talking about trying to combat violence moving into the summer, is there anything that's lacking that could be immediately implemented?
Well, I think some of the things that the city is doing is right in line with what we see across the country. In particular, what police are doing is what's called hot spot policing. They're trying to target particular communities where we see a high level of homicides, which I think a lot of it is primarily related to the pandemic and people being out of work and not having various types of opportunities. The other thing we're seeing the city do, which is right in line with some of the best practices and the most innovative approaches, which is to have mental health response teams responding to some of these low-level, non-violent mental health calls. This is important. Denver, Colorado has been doing this in a program called STAR. To date, they have 0 fatalities, 0 arrests. They're getting people the resources they need. And in a place like DC, where we know homelessness can be an issue, where we know people lacking certain types of work opportunities are an issue, having mental health professionals respond to those calls and having police back them up, I think is a good pathway.
Yeah, let's talk about the big picture as far as that. As D.C. spins up this program, I mean, what would you expect to see? Would we see fewer arrests, police able to respond to actual emergencies and crises quicker, a combination of those things?
Yes, all of the above. So part of what happens when calls for service are reallocated, it does a couple of things. First, it allows for professionals to focus on what they do best, in this case, mental health professionals. But it also allows for law enforcement to focus on solving violent crime, particularly homicides. We know that robberies were down during the pandemic, but homicides have been up. Conflict is increasing. So part of what happens is police can focus on solving that particular crime rather than focusing on some of these other lower level offenses that can be handled by mental health professionals. So there are definitely a lot of changes that can happen, but the big thing all around when it comes to crime is that everyone is concerned with it, and it's definitely a lot more that can be done in this area.
Yeah, Dr. Ray, last question for you. Do you think as we round the corner of the pandemic, more people start to go back to work, the economy starts to improve, some of these service and food and beverage jobs come back and things like that, do we think that we'll see a decline that you mentioned related to the pandemic?
I think we will. And this is why. Because when we look at the sorts of crimes that we're talking about, for example, homicides versus robberies, homicides have been up, robberies have been down. And so part of thinking about robberies and burglaries going down is the fact that it suggests that people are having conflict instead of just going out committing an overwhelming amount of various types of crime. Right. So I think part of what we'll see is that crime will reduce, but we definitely have to focus on work and education infrastructure.
Yeah, we need to get there, and we need to get there quickly. Dr. Rashawn Ray from the University of Maryland, sociology professor, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.